Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. I am JV and today I want to show you something that I have worked on a few years back, about 3 or 4 years ago. I was doing some calculations within the Old Testament chronology and I found something very interesting. It all started with me trying to do calculations within the Old Testament. I found something very unique in which Joseph of Egypt dies around 810 to 1800 BC, and I found that very fascinating because Joseph Smith, according to our religion, was born in 1805 AD. Now, before we begin, I just want to state that I am not representing my church in any way, and yes, I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but I'm going to be brief when it comes to this and not get into a lot of gospel or doctrinal details. I'm just wanting to look at all this whole timeline here because I find it quite interesting. Now, to begin, or begin again, something that a lot of people don't do is that they usually start with Adam and Eve and then they try to calculate from there, assuming that they lived sometime around 4000 BC. But the calculations could be wrong, especially when it comes to when Israel enters Egypt and when they leave Egypt. And this is why you have to do calculations correctly. And here is one of them. In 1 Kings chapter 6, it says that Solomon started construction of the temple about 480 years after the children of Israel came out of Egypt. So this is after the Exodus, and Solomon began construction on his temple sometime between 967 to 966 BC. So if you grab your calculator here, 966, some nat here, plus 480, we bring it up to around 1446, in which I placed the Exodus. But I want to get into another video here because we don't exactly know when the Exodus occurred, and there could be misguidance here when it comes to the calculations and the time period and time frame. But we at least know that according to research and scholars, the Exodus occurred sometime between 1600 to 1400 BC, and it also depends on different records as well. I'm using the calculations of the KJV, King James Version of the Bible, so that's something I also wanted to mention as well. But if you go back over here, the Exodus occurred 430 years after the children of Israel entered Egypt. So plus 430 equals 1876. And oops, That's where I placed the children of Egypt entering into Egypt, and this here is fascinating. Why? Because not only does this mirror Joseph of Egypt's death mirrors this. By the way, Joseph of Egypt was appointed governor over Egypt by Pharaoh around the time that he was 30 to 40 years old, and the Israelites entered Egypt sometime around when he was 40 years old. So, yeah. He was, according to his calculations, he died somewhere between this date and stupid gnat. I'm sorry. And Joseph Smith was born in sometime around 1805 AD or AC or CE. And they seem to mirror each other along with the Exodus, mirroring when the first printed Bible was, which is somewhere between 1454 to 1455 AD. And I find that very interesting. And this here is just my theories. This here is just my speculations. They seem to mirror each other as if it's some type of chiasmic structure. I also put this with our church's history. LDS Saints entering Utah around in 1847 AC, which kind of mirrors when the Israelites entered Egypt around 1876 BC. So, but, oops, going back, what are chiasms? Well, it's a type of poetry, a type of pattern of ancient people, primarily those of the Middle East and even Maya as well. Semitic people, Hebrew, Greek, and even Maya. They did chiasms. This ABBA or ABCBA, ABCCBA type of pattern where they seem to repeat itself in certain areas. And famous examples is the Bible, Quran, and of course the Book of Mormon. And I find that very interesting because Joseph Smith was born in 1805 AD, and Joseph of Egypt died somewhere around 1810 to 1805 BC, and they seem to, along with the other things that I have found, they seem to mirror each other. They seem to have these type of chiasmic patterns. The last recorded Old Testament prophet lived sometime around 430 BC. The last Book of Mormon, recorded Book of Mormon prophet lived sometime around 425 AD. And man, Rome took over Jerusalem around 63 BC, and then they destroyed the Jerusalem temple around 70 CE during a revolt that took place between 66 to 73 CE. So there again, there is a type of mirroring going on here, kind of like chiasms. Amen.